Wake that ass up
early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest on the line right now and a friend to the room, Yvonne Orji. Welcome.
Pew, 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 pew. What's going on? How y'all doing?
Good morning.
A friend to the room, but not a friend to Issa anymore, apparently. On Insecure.
Wow.
Not in real life, but on Insecure.
Right off the bat, that's how we starting to talk. Okay. I thought you was an
tired
ally.
of you. I was tired of Molly. I was like,
I thought you was an ally.
Mm-hmm. Nah, I'm not gonna lie, because look, I understood you being mad because Issa did some really messed up things in your friendship.
Why you keep saying you?
I know, right? You make it seem like it's really, it really wasn't.
On
two different
Insecure.
people.
It's not my fault that Issa's name is Issa on Insecure. Okay?
Yvonne's
and I
name
refer to you.
Molly.
Right, but I just wanted, before we get into the special, because that was weighing on my soul, as somebody who is very heavy on my friendships, I just don't think the appropriate time to ambush somebody about your friendship problems is right after a major event that they just pulled off.
Why are you acting like you talking to Molly? Relax.
Yo,
Damn.
I feel like Angela's about to post up, like do something that little. I'm nervous right now, y'all. It's 7:00 on the West Coast. I haven't even got my morning prayer in. I haven't prayed to my husband yet. You know what I'm saying? I got my devotionals. You can't just
ask how you doing during this pandemic.
No, we're gonna get to that.
She
right
has
before we
none
talk
of that.
about
She's straight.
But I was so upset watching that because it wasn't even just that. It was that's your best friend. You're not gonna ask your man for a favor. I made this a whole topic, okay, on
really.
the service. Yes,
listen.
it is.
But Angela, you mean to tell me it's 8 billion people out in the world. Your friend tells you just don't talk to this one person, and you can't find nobody else to help you. So then, what am I to you? I'm your clutch. Molly's your clutch because I'm not. I'm different. But I'm just putting that out there to you, Angela. I'm just saying you couldn't find not one person else to ask.
Yeah, your best friend. You should be able to ask your best friend, and then your best friend should be able to ask her man. And guess what? He did it anyway.
Molly invited you over for pie, son. All you had to do was come over and have some pie on Thanksgiving. We could have talked about it. We could have hashed it out, and we could have been cool. But you know what? Exclamation mark. The end.
Period.
How do you feel about Molly's character this season? I almost feel happy that you were on quarantine because I feel like if you was in them streets, you'd be getting a lot more Angela Yee energy from a lot of people.
Yo, real talk. I can't even front. I'm so glad I'm in therapy my damn self, like as an actual human being, because these tweets got me feeling like, let me start over. I was like, y'all gotta figure this out. Like, and I don't know that it gets better for Molly. I don't know that it gets better for Molly, but yeah, no, they coming out with like for real shots fired. Like one person last week, in the middle of everything that was happening, we all collectively decided, like, obviously we got to address what's going on. We all came together as an Insecure HBO family, just letting people know that we're with them. And, if they want to watch, like, we'll be there with them. So, we were like live tweeting, but not like as heavy as we used to be. I'm tweeting what's actually happening when people are watching. Somebody was like, not today, Yvonne. I was like, wait, that's this real person. I was like, well, what did I? So I'm looking like, did I miss the memo? Is Issa and Prentice and everybody else? Everybody's tweeting. Jay's tweeting. They were like, no, Yvonne, we watching in silence today. I was like, hold on.
Okay.
What did
They're
I
coming for you. Now, I'll give you one compliment. Your bathing suits was lit on your vacation. I loved all of them, and you look amazing. So that's the one compliment that I...
Angela, I've given you 4 years of ride or die, and the one thing you could give me this whole season is my one bathing suit in one episode. You ain't loyal.
It was more than one. It was more than one bathing suit. They always fly.
Well, I'll take it. Angela, we used to be friends. God bless you. I'm gonna say, Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. I'm gonna go high.
You go low.
Except when you're at an African market.
That's right. You go real low.
I go.
You go lower.
You go lower. Now let's talk about your special. We all seen your special. kudos, man. The special was
Yes.
hilarious.
Very,
I
very well
loved
done.
it.
Yeah,
I
very
saw you
well
wanna-
done.
live. I actually came backstage to see you because I was so impressed when I saw you live. And this stand-up special was everything. So I forgave Molly, and I love Yvonne.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm hoping, I get it. It's a lot. It's really a lot going on outside, and I'm hoping that by Saturday, people need 65 minutes of just laughter to take their minds off of the crazy that's happening. But yeah, I'm also hoping that they put Molly in a box for an hour and then just pick up Yvonne, and then hopefully we can get through some of the anger and anguish that Angela just spewed on me to get to the Lagos market.
So how was going
You
back
know what's
home
so
and filming
interesting?
that and people seeing you, where you were from, where you grew up in your village? How was that?
Yo, that was real live. It was so much a moment of fulfillment because I'm the one with the mic, so I can say whatever. But giving my parents an opportunity to be like, we have some things to say as well, and we want to say it, like that. That was a beautiful moment of them to like kind of air their grievances, put out their hopes or whatever. I think my favorite moments were when they were getting interviewed and they would stop talking and it'd just be like a moment of silence. And that moment is just packed with so much because I know, my parents are thinking, we really did not know. We did not know. They're thinking so much. And then like going to the village, because, I tried to bring as many Black people as possible back to Nigeria. We did have a few white cameramen, and they don't see white people in the village. Everybody was looking like, who are these people? Like, are we getting colonized again? It was, it was real interesting.
Yeah,
One of
I
my
think
favorite
that's what
parts was when they
separates.
seen
That's what separates. Okay, what do
I
you
was
say?
gonna say one of my favorite parts is when we seen when we walk into the house and your parents had the
Man,
pillow.
don't tell them stuff.
All right, you're right.
You're
You're right.
crazy.
Because that's something I think my parents would do, like just have a random something in the house and be like, Ma, why? Like you don't have to take everything with my face on it, Ma. I thought that was hilarious.
Hysterical. Yeah, no, they shipped that from America because I definitely sent it to them to their house in Laurel. I didn't know it was waiting for me in the village. I was like, what is this, Mama? We packed it and brought it. I'm like, for what?
Was it intentional to include footage of yourself visiting Nigeria? Because I really feel like that's what separates. I mean, I know it wasn't intentional, but was it intentional to separate Yvonne from Molly by showing them how different Yvonne is from Molly?
I wasn't thinking about Molly when I was shooting the special. This is 14 years in the making for me. You know what I mean? I started comedy in 2006, so this is who I was before y'all found me as Molly. And so what it was for me to like, please allow me to reintroduce myself. They call me Y. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to show you all. It's almost kind of like this weekend I'm gonna be rediscovered anew. Because the thing that like Issa and everybody else knew that I did before I booked the show is like America, even when we dropped the trailer, people were like, the chick from Insecure funny? She got jokes? I didn't know, and for me, it's not one of those things where, when somebody gets a little shy, they get a platform and they're an actor. And it's like, you know what I want to try? This is comedy. It's like, no, I've been doing this.
You've been doing this. And your outfit was lit. A lot of times I watch stand-up comedy specials. I'd be like, what is this person wearing? Is this part of the funniness? But your outfit, your hair, everything on point. So that was dope.
Oh, thank you. I made it a point to, when I first started out in comedy, I was like, let me tell you right now, if my jokes bomb, my outfit gonna be bomb though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I made sure to always look fly. But throughout the special, I wore something from an African designer. Like, even if it's a t-shirt. So my outfit was made by Laurence Boss, who was on Project Runway. And so that was by design, and then the boots were Balenciaga, because I had to give them a little action.
Now, there's a lot of things that you talked about that I could relate to, like being broke and going on a date, because you need to eat. And I've talked about that extensively from when I was younger, when you like, man, looks like I'm gonna have to go on that date I ain't really want to go on with that person I didn't really like because I am hungry.
Bruh, it's real in these streets. But I remember the one date that I was like, it's not even worth it. I'll just starve. I remember going on this date with this dude. It was bad from like minute 5. And I was like, how hungry are you? Like, and it didn't get better. And at the end of the night, I thought it was definitely going to be one of those, well, God bless and goodbye. And here he go. He's like, so, you want to do this again? I was like,
hell no.
Like,
what makes a date bad though? Like, what's bombing? What made it bad?
He was pretty much talking about himself the whole time, and then was kind of like, if we had just come from my comedy show too, was just kind of talking, was like, it was cool. I mean, but like, what else are you gonna do? And I was like, with what? He was like, oh, like your life. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Nah, let me get the lobster. I was really looking.
What is he doing? What was his job?
Who cares and who knows? Because it's not with me no more.
Right. Did you reach for your wallet after to pretend you was gonna pay?
I think I always do. I always do as just like and I just hey, but no, bro. Like you better not let me pull nothing out.
Have you ever gotten caught that way and ended up having to pay half?
Absolutely, and I was like, "This is trash." I was disgusted as a woman. Just no, this is not what we mean when we want equal pay. This is not what we're fighting for.
Does your mom still monitor your dating life since you said your mom wants you to get engaged so bad?
Listen, my mom definitely hit me up the other day and was just like, the jokes are good, but they do not keep you warm at night. Like, nah, just you can't be held close. Like she's very supportive of the career, but she is, with every birthday, she is definitely like, so what are your plans? Like, come on. I can't be the one that makes plans.
Not to bring Molly back into it, but on the show, you do have
my
Asian
goodness,
G. No, but I'm just gonna ask. I'm gonna relate it back to this. Would your parents have an issue if you brought home like somebody Asian, somebody white? What would they say about that?
If I get to 40 and I'm still single, they'd be like, "So you brought home a giraffe? We love a tall dude. We love a tall." they right now, they're holding on to hope for like a Nigerian. That would be very interesting. But I think, let me have 2 more birthdays and I'm still single. They're gonna be like, but before we die, just somebody to love.
When's the last time you've been on a date? When's the last time you've been on a date? Even if it was through virtually, because I know
it's a quarantine.
When's the last time you met somebody?
Envy, can I help you? You guys, is this hookup, Breakfast Club hookup? What's going on?
Just asking.
Your DM's about to be lit.
Hey,
okay.
I'm glad you told that nigga to mind his business just now.
I'm just asking. We just talk about his mom. His mom said before I die. So I'm just asking, when's the last time you?
Wow, you're bringing that blend in with the wallpaper energy right now, Envy.
That beige ass energy, nigga. Hey, listen, how's your relationship with Exactly. Listen, how's your relationship with Issa, right? Because I know that it's acting on set, but now that y'all beefing on the show, do you find yourself beefing with her off camera by accident?
No,
gotta be in character.
First of all, if anybody got beef with Issa, they have issues in their own life. You know what I'm saying? Because Issa is the most like formidable human being. She's the most anti-aggressive person you'll ever meet. Super passionate, but like anti-conflict. But I do know that this was a different season for us because we were beefing throughout the whole season. We wouldn't see each other on set because she had a whole different world with Condola. I mean, she had episode 5 and 8 by herself so far. So it was like, I wasn't on set with her as much. And then when we were together, it was all this tension. And so by the time we shot episode 5, I was like, I don't like this season. I don't know what's happening. We're supposed to keep fighting. and I literally was like, I miss you. She's like, I miss you too, girl. So it was definitely a different vibe on set. And so we would have our moments of like, hey girl, hey, like while we were in holding, waiting to shoot a scene. But no, but in real life, that's the homie. I as Yvonne, I'll fight you. You don't talk about Issa.
So that's what I'm saying. How hard was it to go to that place? How hard was it to go to that place when y'all arguing with each other about to put hands on each other after the festival?
Oh, it was definitely just a heightened moment. You know what I mean? And even when they yell cut, it was still like, are we really doing this? Like the first couple of takes, it was like the rehearsal was like, girl, I was like, girl, y'all wrote this. Y'all know what it is. Like, I don't really need this. But then after we were like shooting, you had to kind of be in that moment because you had to sell it. And after like take 2 or 3, it was like, can we not do this no more? Because I'm like revved up right now. But we had to, you have to act.
Can you admit that Molly's a bad friend? I'm just playing with you.
Angela, look at you're trying to mess up my
That's what
mortgage
she's
and my
stuck on
text.
right there.
Okay. No, but here's the thing. Molly is not a bad friend. Molly is just a woman in transition. She's a woman that's trying to find her voice. And in order to use to find your voice, you got to use it. And it's not always going to come out right. And I think what people are watching is somebody trying to find their highest self and having missteps. And we as a Black community don't always brace ourselves through our growth. And so that's really what is, I think, what people are projecting on her. It's like, yeah, she's going to make some mistakes. She's never set boundaries before. She told y'all she's never been in a relationship this long before. And so I think Molly is going through it to grow through it.
Now, speaking of which, I saw that y'all had some little sex toys on the show. How would you feel if somebody whipped out a bunch of sex toys on you?
Now, if it's my husband, I'd be like, let's try, because I've been waiting now all my life.
I know.
I've been waiting. So I would be like, so what does this one do? I definitely, when we were in Mexico, I was like, so what exactly does that do? I was looking at the props dude, like, can I hold these? Can I hold these for a little bit to figure out?
I'm about to send you a package.
My friend said that. She was like, Yvonne, you've been in quarantine. What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just going to sleep real early. I'm just, going to bed real early, taking 4-hour baths. She was like, nah, we can't go out like this. Yeah. Thank you in advance, Angela. What I would do them, but thank you in advance.
Now, listen, what are your? I liked what you did in the special when you had that group shot where all of y'all was talking. Your comedian friend and like the DJ. DJ was the DJ Obo?
DJ Obi.
Obi? Like, so
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about African culture like finally becoming mainstream in America?
No, it's beautiful. For me, I think it's absolutely beautiful in terms of like the crossover, because when you go home, it's familiar to you, right? You see, right. you hear the Afro beats, it's popping, and now you're just like, oh, all the people that I know here also know that the stuff back there is popping, and I love it. I think it's a beautiful time. It's funny with everything that was going on. I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I was like, dang, because she was saying like, who is our ally? Like what other countries are superpower that can help us? And I was like, yo, can you imagine if like every African country was at a place where they were like financially and militarily, where if Black people are in trouble here, if we can't call on Europe, if we can't call on Asia, we can be like, yo, who? And our African brothers and sisters, like, we're sitting in the African Union. And my friend was like, so that's Wakanda. I was like, bruh. I was like, is that like? But she was right. It's like that is Wakanda, and I was like, well, why can't it be real life? Like I was sad for a moment, because it's like it is Black people everywhere are experiencing this. Like when Corona first hit, Black people in China they couldn't get like healthcare service, and it's just like, nah. Like I felt like that scene, like dang, because it's just like I wish we could have like people that we could call and be like, no, we're gonna come save the day because we got oil and we got gold. But
that's right.
That's what was interesting to me in that episode where you guys were in Mexico, just to hear like the different takes on cultural differences and how they tried to paint you, his brother tried to paint you out as like the angry Black woman when we saw how she treated you. And I know that feeling when you go to get something and you say, how come you ain't asking white people? Or when you online to get on the plane and they ask you if you're supposed to be, oh, this is first class. And you're like, you ain't asking white people. Yeah. I was watching that and I had so many emotions about that, because I was like, y'all don't understand.
Traveling while Black is high-key frustrating, because I think they stopped doing it now, but it's not the people taking your tickets anymore when they're like, now boarding group 1. It's the other people that are lined up and it's like, oh, she said group 1. And
Excuse me.
Like, I know. I'm sorry, I'm platinum. I'm platinum. Okay, thank you. And it's just be like, let me live, let me breathe. It. I talked about when I went on vacation, and it was like a nice resort, and I got a bungalow to myself, and I vacate by myself, because I'm still single, NB. I'm still single. Okay.
We're gonna get you some toys to take in that bungalow, but go ahead.
And it was some folks from another country that were definitely like rolling, swimming up to my bungalow, like, so you're just gonna have all that space to yourself, and I'm like, absolutely. Can I help you? And it was just like them trying to figure out like who are you? Why are you here? I remember I got into a hot tub, and it's a small hot tub, but it's 4 other people, and they're like talking over me. And it's just like, oh, this person's important because this person plays this sport. And I'm just looking like, so y'all just not even gonna acknowledge my presence. You're just gonna talk over me. Like, so yes, like
you're not gonna acknowledge me? Me? A whole me?
A whole me. Absolutely. But my friend Bo, she was like, I'm taking back the term angry Black woman, because for so long, I think people have tried to weaponize that against us. And she was just like, no, we are angry. And I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to be angry. I'm angry at work because I have reason to be angry. And it's not that we wake up and be like, what we going to be today? Mad. No, like most of us wake up and be like, I want to have a good day. Kirk Franklin and Fred Hammond just blessed us with the verses.
Yes.
I want to just live my best life, and then stupid stuff happens.
So what have you mentioned the verses? What have you been doing during this pandemic? Have you been reading more, watching more television? What have you been doing?
Man, I just turned in another draft of my book that's coming out next year. Bamboozled by Jesus. How God tricked me into the life of my dreams. And I tell you one thing, he definitely tricked me into writing that daggone book by myself. Why didn't you tell me, Charlamagne? Why didn't you tell me the book?
I would have told you. You do not have to sit there and try to write a whole book by yourself.
Bruh.
Because you got stories and you got ideas. You just write the stories down, write the ideas down, and then let somebody else fluff it up.
Bruh. I thought it was like a rapper. Like I wanted street cred. Like, no, I write my own rhymes, son.
Oh, you ain't want no ghostwriter. Yeah, all right.
But you are a writer by nature. You are a writer.
Yeah, I'm a writer by nature, but it's just the process. First of all, trying to write a book in between trying to executive produce, film, and edit and star in a comedy special and shoot a movie and finish a season of comedy.
You're right.
I don't know. I really did think I was African with a baby on my back and a pail of water on my head. I thought I could really do it all. When I tell you, when this book come out, y'all hoes better buy this damn book, because I have literally bled for this joint.
No, we definitely will. I'm excited.
I appreciate it, but that's what I've been doing, Envy. It's like I've been writing. I was like, yo, who are these people that have the luxury of free time? Like, I want that. I want to know what it's like to wake up and not shower and just like, eat bananas in my drawers and just, I don't know. This is what I feel like people do with their free time. I haven't had any, so correct me.
But you say that, Yvonne, but you worked really hard to get to where you are, though, to not have that free time. And so there's a balance for sure, though, where you got to be like, let me take this week, to just decompress and get my own bungalow and my toys.
You know what? You and these toys, no, for real. This is Dave. I turned the manuscript in on midnight Monday, and then it was Blackout Tuesday. So yesterday I didn't do anything I didn't want to do, and this whole week, especially leading up to the special, it's like I'm kind of mixed. I'm kind of torn because I've been working towards this for 14 years, and it's like I want to have all this joy, like, Mama, I did make it, but outside is burning. And it's just like, dang, first outside was closed. Now America is burning. I haven't even been to see the billboard. People are texting me like, yo, we saw your billboard. And I'm like, yeah, well, the protesters are around there. So I haven't been to see the billboard, but I'm going to go. But I'm trying to hold on to my joy because I know that that's my weapon and that's how I fight. And that's how I heal, is through joy.
Just think if you would have been
therapy.
I was just going to say, just think if you would have been a doctor, you wouldn't have had no free time either.
Listen.
I don't know what they're saying. I said, I don't know what you're saying. Y'all both talking at the same time. She was like, I don't know.
No, because she was saying she doesn't have free time. I'm saying, just think if you were a doctor, like your parents wanted you to be, you'd have been really working too at the same time, but this is your dream.
my hairdresser, Nikki Newland, she is part hairdresser by day and like registered nurse by night. So she's been on the front lines of COVID. And I hit her up like, girl, you know, there are some people who are called to this is not my anointing. I bless you. I salute you. Cause I'd have seen, you know, one case and I'm like, I can't even stand blood. Every month, Angela, when, you know, my cycle come, I'm like, how is this again? Wow. Like, I'm just like, I don't even like the look of it.
So what you been doing? Teletherapy?
Yep. Teletherapy every 2 weeks. You know, just, and you know what? I've been doing therapy every 2 weeks and then I've been doing baths for like 2 to 4 hours. I just be soaking in silence. Sometimes I have like a hope, like I'll be like, oh, I want to listen to this album. I'll listen to a whole album. I'll have my iPad with me and I'll write down anything I hear Holy Spirit say. It's been therapeutic as heck just to even just sit. When do we ever get to just sit silently and not be missing out on anything? Because the world is closed. Outside has been closed. And so baths and therapy have really just been my escape. But I'm so looking forward to leisurely reading. I got about 4 books I started that I haven't finished. I'm gonna become like Michelle Obama in a couple of days.
Okay.
You know, it's got to be like personally too, though. It's got to kind of be like a mind fuck because you're having your moment because the stand-up special is coming out, but then like you said, outside is burning.
Yeah, I hope, you know, and I'm trying to be sensitive to the moment too because, you know, you can't really be like, hey, can y'all watch my special? Because it's not about me, but it's more like, yo, if y'all need 65 minutes to just like forget what's going on, because it's not like it's gonna stop. We gonna go back to that. But if you need like a official timeout to see someone's hopes and dreams come true and give you hope that your hopes and dreams can come true, if you need 65 minutes of just like, let me just laugh at something not, you know, detrimental and traumatizing to our soul, I hope people still, you know, show up for it. Because I think we need it. You know, I've been vacillating between looking at it as kind of like, I guess it's going to be a casualty of war, to turning my perspective to be like, or maybe it's happening for such a time as this. Maybe this is the best time for the special to come out. Maybe this.
I think so.
You know,
we need it right now. And people are at home looking for things to watch, like, oh, I done watched all this stuff already. And we could use like a break from, there's a lot of heavy things going on. So I think anytime we have an opportunity, to take a break from that and have a good laugh and support you at the same time, because I think that's important as well.
I appreciate that. And it's good. Like, you know, I try not to do trash stuff.
It is good. No, it's good.
In my life. Thank you. And
that's where you and Molly are different.
And wow. Also just like, I'm gonna let it slide, and I'm gonna let it up. Angela, you've been out here just pop. I'm gonna let you have you've been holding in 8 episodes of anger, and you're like, I gotta get that hoe on the phone.
Because we rescheduled this. I was like, hold on, we need to talk. We need to figure this out. But hopefully this weekend y'all will reconcile things and we could be cool.
Just, you know, keep watching. You know, a lot of stuff will happen. Just keep watching.
Am I gonna be mad?
I think you stay mad. So I don't know if you can be helped.
All right, but I love you, Yvonne. So that's all that matters.
I got nothing but love for you, Angela. But no, I'm excited. I feel like, I also feel like this is a different kind of uprising. I don't know if you guys have felt it, but I feel like, absolutely. Real change is about to happen. Like this thing,
100%. 100%.
It's almost like the perfect storm. Like I know, you know me. I love me some Jesus, and I when I think about it biblically, like everybody goes through Revelations, and I'm like, nah, I'm not in Revelations. I'm like, yo, let's look at the story of Joseph. Like for him to get to the palace, like he had to get sold into slavery. He had to get put in jail. He had to get lied on. All this stuff had to happen, and then he became like second in command. Or if you look at Ruth, Esther, before she became queen, all this stuff had to happen. And then she was the right person in the right position for anything to change. And I just feel like outside had to close. There had to be a global pandemic. There had to be, you know, Amy Cooper, like the day before George Floyd. There had to be like highest unemployment rates. They had it was like a worst perfect storm for this backdrop. So, and then it's like, y'all can't be like, oh, well, we were on the subway, we missed it. No, you did not miss the news. You saw what happened. You can't deny it. And Black people are mad, and you should be too. And I think this is actually the perfect storm for change to happen.
Yeah, I think this is divine because I feel like ain't no good gonna come to the world until they do right by Black people. And that's why I think all of these things are impacting Black folks the way that they are, just so the world can see that and the world can finally have the opportunity to properly atone to us. And I'm gonna tell you something else. You mentioned the Book of Revelations. I thought about this the other day too, and I was actually talking to Stephen Furtick about this. It's not that it's the end of the world, it's the end of a time, meaning a system. Because we can't go back to normal. So it's the end of a system, not the end of civilization as we know it.
Absolutely. Furtick had an amazing message about normal, and he was like, ain't no going back to normal, it's looking forward to normal. But I do think that there is a shift happening, and there is literally everything is happening to make sure white people don't have any excuses. Like, they can have
That's
it,
right.
but it's just like, no, y'all can't. Like, Amy Cooper, like,
Can't
she literally found like the bionic Black man. She found the Harvard grad bird watching, 2-a-day gym going.
Right.
Like, bro, like, you literally messed with the wrong Black guy, and then you the police officer also messed with the wrong Black guy. It was like it wasn't even a fraudulent $20 bill. So now it's just like,
Right.
y'all can't keep being like, oh, but what if? But we don't know. Is it possible? And it's just like, no. The answer is no. And even if it was Tekashi 369 that was telling Amy Cooper to put a leash on her dog, he was still in the, you know what I'm saying? He was still in the right. I don't care. Like, it doesn't
Right.
have to be the perfect Black man to tell you to follow the rules of, like, that, not that I made up, but the park made
Right.
up.
Tekashi 369.
Well, thank you for joining
I
us
love it.
as always. And I'm sorry that
Absolutely.
Yi doesn't like you right now.
You said you're
But
saying
no, listen,
I'm sorry Yi doesn't like you right now.
I don't like
Maybe
Molly.
Maybe next
so
week she'll
much.
like you, but this week she doesn't like you right now.
I cannot wait. And listen,
What's up? I was like, I can't promise that she'll like me next week. I don't know, but I can't promise that. I make no promises. But Angela, I rocks with you. You know, say Yvonne rocks
Okay.
with you.
okay,
And-
good. That's all that matters to me. I'm happy you got your auto pay popping. Life is good, amazing. That's how I knew I was good, when I was able to do my student loans on auto pay, you know, and get my credit right. So shout out to you. I know your parents are so proud of you. So I'm glad we had a chance to see them, because, you know, I've seen you do your stand up and talk about how they thought you were a jester and you just make jokes, and they really did think that. But now they see it's been
You
very
see that
been
part?
successful.
You see that part with my mom? I won't give it away, but that part when I was giving my mom the gifts, and she was still like,
Yes.
well, what about?
What about the? Yeah, I don't want to say what.
You don't do the accent, Charlamagne.
Yeah, I don't
It's
think-
not.
Yeah.
That-
I was like, yo, what's crazy is none of that was rehearsed. Like that, my mom actually was like, this is cool and all. However, I was like, Mom, this bag cost me racks. You better just take this and pawn it and get everything else you want, because I don't know what you're doing right now.
Goodness.
No,
You can
I'm
get
glad the
that
world
same.
gets
You can
to
get
know.
that. You can get that bag for cheap in LA if you just reach out, because you know they've been breaking into all the Louis Vuitton stores.
Stop
Get that
it,
same
man.
bag
Stop
for the
it.
low.
I was like, reach out to who?
Right.
Stop it. Yvonne, thank you for joining us so much. We appreciate you.
Yo, you know you out of pocket when Envy's the one that's calming you down. You know,
Calm down. Listen, somebody tried to give me a Chanel bag and Envy shut it down. I was like, you don't speak for me, okay? You want to,
you don't know my life.
Yeah, you don't speak for me. What color is it?
My goodness.
Y'all
Thank you so
did
much.
great.
Peace.
I
All right.
appreciate y'all.
Congratulations on everything.